Hey everybody, what's up? I am going to play a video real quick for you with an update while I pull up the domestic dispute report, and bear with me.
This is an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. I understand that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. On the advice of counsel, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment. All right, once again, folks, let's pull back on this a little bit. Young couple, boyfriend, girlfriend. Some reports may even be a fiance. I don't know the exact status of their relationship, but they go to live the van life together. I watched the whole video. I mean, they're together doing this in the white van. Two of them go out, drive across the country. One comes home to Florida and has a lawyer, and at this juncture will have no further comment. What? What happened? What happened here? Do we know what happened here? All right, we've got some guests. We have our guests ready? All right, let's bring in our guests. Joining us tonight, there they are, folks. In Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen, also in Salt Lake City, Utah, retired police commander and host of the Profiling Evil podcast, Mike King, is with us. And Utah plays a big role in this whole thing. I mean, they were spending time in Utah. I have to start first just with this statement that was released, because I wasn't expecting this. Mike, you first, because I saw you reacting out of the corner of my eye here.
Yeah.
What is that statement?
Vinny, I was flabbergasted. I mean, how could you have someone? Everything I've read is this is a couple that's been engaged for 2 years. They've been living together. They went up to New York and met with the family for a high school graduation, and Gabby's mom and stepdad gave them a little extra money to make this trip a lot of fun. They look like in all the videos that they're having a blast together. And all of a sudden she disappears, and his comment, or the family's comment through their attorney, is we wish the best. Holy cow.
Jason Jensen, this is a cold statement. This is cold. It's not like they were strangers. They were on a blind date. They didn't really know each other. They were living together. Were, I think, planning to spend the rest of their lives together.
That is really the impressions you get from watching their YouTube video, of them having the van life, traveling the country, hanging out here, visiting that park and this park. But then all of a sudden, there's a massive turn of events where the relationship is completely soured, and he has no idea where his girlfriend is. That doesn't make any sense.
All right, let's walk through this a little bit. Tracking this trip, it seems, because again, watching the video, you go on the Instagram, you can see that they're posting these beautiful pictures, beautiful parts of the country, up until kind of like mid to late August, and then all of a sudden, these things stop. Mike King, this is what the whole trip was about: living the van life and posting to the world about it, right? Doing it very publicly, and then it just stops in the middle of August. Like, there's got to be some explanation for that, and obviously, he would have the explanation. How could you not pick up the phone, tell her parents, talk to them, come out publicly, explain what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go back to the day they leave Arches and drive to Salt Lake City. They obviously are together because one report that I read was dad buys an Uber meal for him and sends it to the hotel room. They leave the hotel room together, and I assume that there's a video that has the two of them together. They come up to my town, Ogden, just north of Salt Lake City, and they take pictures. Somebody had to take that picture at the butterfly mural of Gabby And I doubt that it was a passerby, because mom ends up talking to her that night from Jackson Hole. And she's there and doing okay, but mom kind of tips her hand a little bit and says, we don't know much about how the relationship was doing right there. Well, behaviorally, that's kind of an interesting addition. That's really interesting. But I'm with you, Vinny. How come all of a sudden the 25th, the 28th, whenever there may be a question on those tweets changing or those social media posts, all of a sudden you have from the 28th of August to September 11th, when a police officer is knocking on their door, that there was no phone call back to mom and dad saying, hey, Gabby got mad and took off on her own, or there was a terrible accident. No, it kind of reminds me of kids that play when they just want a do-over and they want everything to be forgotten.
Yeah, that's not happening here. We have another guest joining us tonight.
And we'll pause that there. I have the report pulled up. Okay, so I will be reading this to you now. And I need to remember that at 6 minutes, I need to put a marker that this is when I start speaking on this subject. So this tweet reads, Eric Pratt, who I believe is the officer, August 13th, 2021, I arrived on scene and observed as two park officers also arrived. I I assisted Officer Robbins with his investigation until I was called away to report of an I'm so sorry. I assisted Officer Robbins with his investigation until I was called away to a report of an intoxicated male near MRH posing a safety risk to himself or others. Before leaving, I spoke with the male driver of the van, the female passenger, and also called Chris to get more information from him. All three individuals gave me a similar and consistent story, consisting of the basic idea that the driver of the van, a male, has some sort of argument with the female, Gabby, as I recall. The male tried to create a distance by telling Gabby to go take a walk to calm down. She didn't want to be separated from the male and began slapping him. He grabbed her face and pushed her back as she pressed upon him and the van. He tried to lock her out and succeeded except for his driver door. She opened that and forced her way over him and into the vehicle before it drove off. No one reported that the male struck the female. Both the male and the female reported they are in love and engaged to be married and desperately didn't wish to see anyone charged with a crime. There were no significant injuries reported, and both agree that Gabby suffers from serious anxiety, etc. It appeared that this incident was more accurately categorized as a mental emotional health break than a domestic assault. I had to leave, but I understand that Officer Robbins got the male lodging through Seek Haven. Gabby retained possession of the van, and they agreed to separate for the night. No charges were filed, and no one wished for charges to be filed to the separation to take place, although that was at minimum what Officer Robbins required in lieu of making a case against Gabby for domestic assault. Gabby is a 22-year-old female who is approximately 5'2" to 5'4", and 110 to 120 pounds, while her fiancé is older, taller, and much heavier than her. He had no fear for his safety and did not exhibit any indicators that he may be a victim of battered boyfriend syndrome, etc. He was also assessed to be at low risk of danger of harm as a result of his proximity to his fiancée, Gabby. Nothing further, EOS EMP. Yikes. Officer Daniel Scott Robbins says, at approximately 16:44 hours, I responded to a possible domestic violence in progress call. A van with both a male and female as occupants were reported leaving the area of 39 East 100 northbound on Main Street. One of the witnesses described the vehicle as a white Ford Transit van with a black ladder on the rear with Florida license plate QFT G03. Witness Christopher Blank reported seeing a male later identified as Brian Laundrie and a female later identified as Gabrielle Petito arguing over a phone. Christopher stated that when Brian got into the van, he saw what appeared to him as Gabby hitting Brian in the arm and then climbing through the driver window as if Brian had locked her out and she was trying to find a way in. I located a white van that matched the description on North Main Street at the Highway 128 turnoff. After I crossed the bridge, I was able to catch up to the van at the turnoff of Arches National Park. I confirmed the vehicle's license plate and initiated the stop. I followed the vehicle as it continued toward the entrance gate to the Arches National Park. I noted the van traveling approximately 45 miles per hour in the 15 in the 15-mile-per-hour speed zone. After I had activated my lights to initiate a traffic stop, I watched the van across the double yellow dividing line in lane 1, merge to 2 lanes, and abruptly swerve to the right. When the vehicle swerved, both the front and rear passenger side wheels hit the curb. A short distance before the entrance gate, the vehicle came to a stop. I approached the vehicle and saw the only occupants being Gabrielle and Brian. Gabrielle, who was in the passenger seat, was crying uncontrollably. I asked Gabrielle to get out of the vehicle to speak with me. Gabrielle told me that she suffers from blank, 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 blank with blank. She continued because of her blank and blank, combined with little arguments she and Brian had been having that day. She was struggling with her mental health, which led to the incident that was reported to law enforcement. Gabrielle stated that when saw my lights, she hit Brian in the arm to get his attention, which in turn caused him to hit the curb while I was following them. I asked Gabrielle if her intention was to hurt Brian, and her response was that she did not intend to hurt him, but rather get his attention to notice me. I was behind them with my lights on. At no point in my investigation did Gabrielle stop crying, breathing heavily, or compose a sentence without needing to wipe away tears, wipe her nose, or rub her knees with her hands. And of course, I was scrolling through the wrong one, so you guys didn't even get to see what I was reading. I'm sorry. Typical me. But I will leave this up while we chit-chat a little bit. What do you guys think? I have questions. Melhawk says, I don't like the way she takes blame, even for his swerving while he drove. I'm going to throw up a banner right now that this is all alleged, because I'm going to start speaking my mind right now. Tell me, though, what do you guys think? My heart's beating really fast. I didn't like reading that, to be completely honest with you, because Gabby is missing and I don't want to blame her for anything. So I felt like reading that I was blaming her for something that I don't necessarily know she's done. So Angelica's saying, I hope he left her somewhere and she is safe, but I don't think so. And Betty Jo Day says, I think he hurt her. I think something may have happened. I think they may have been in some sort of fight. Dojo Wife says, the cases these days are always plot twists. That is a major plot twist. My heart is beating really fast right now. I mean, if she was having a mental crisis, I'm surprised if she didn't try to communicate that to someone. But we don't know what contents her phone has. It said they were fighting over a phone as well. I think they had a fight too, Kimmykins. The fact that he isn't answering questions, the fact that he is lawyered up, is 100% sus. 100%. Let me link this back up. What do you guys think? This is so weird. That was such a plot twist. I wait to read stuff with you guys sometimes. So I had already pulled it up. I had already skimmed kind of over it. And then my friend, thank you, sent me the extended version. And I read that with you guys. And I'm shocked. Shocked. All right. Hold on a second. Let's share this.
Tonight, a special guest joins us in New York City, Crime Online reporter Ellen Killeran. Ellen, great to see you. What do we know about this couple, about Gabby, about laundry, and the nature of this relationship? It seemed like, they had a wonderful relationship and were doing. I was a little bit jealous, just taking off and doing this incredible trip.
Exactly. Gabby is a free spirit, and that couple appears to be very happy and in love and sharing the same values and really just enjoying themselves, documented on their video, document on their YouTube channel, on their Instagram, social media accounts. From what we can see, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong, except for the fact that Gabby went out of contact. And her fiance drove all the way back to Florida without letting anyone know that she wasn't there with him anymore.
That makes no sense. Jason Jensen, I know you've been doing a little bit of investigating yourself with trying to track where this white van that they were living in has been spotted. What did you find out?
Well, one of the things that we learned was that in on July 6th, it was in Colorado Springs near a church uh, just on the city street. So they were making their way across the country. But other than that, yeah, that's the image right there of where it was parked on the side of the street. Other than that, there are no other sightings, which just, doesn't mean anything more than the fact that they were in rural areas and national parks where a repossession company isn't going to see the vehicle and run the plate and put it in the database.
Ellen, the other part is you described that they had shared values. They were into like yoga and just clean living, got very upset when people would pollute, into nature, all of that.
Exactly. Healthy living, taking care of the planet, giving back to the planet, and enjoying everything that nature has to offer. They had this really healthy lifestyle, it appeared, in many different ways. So it just doesn't make sense why she wasn't reported missing by the man who said he wanted to marry her and just turned around and left. What happened?
Yeah, and even if people can break up, they can have a fight, whatever. I mean, you're driving across the country, you're responsible for each other, okay? And from my perspective, if you're a man, you have even more responsibility. Some people might think it's sexist, but I think you do. I think you do. If you're driving around and you've got a young woman with you, take care of her. You don't leave her wherever. If she walks off, you follow her and you make sure that she's safe.
You make sure she's okay, and that's her vehicle that he took. That's hers.
There's a fun fact I did not know. I did not know that fun fact. Unbelievable. All right, Mike King. Going back to the statement released by the lawyer for the boyfriend and his family. I'm a lawyer. I understand that people need lawyers, but shouldn't we be looking for this young woman instead of getting lawyers and being silent? They say that I understand that a search has been organized in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. I was there once, but it was a long, long time ago, Mike King, long time ago. How do you even begin searching for someone there?
If it's out in the national park, that is the needle in the haystack, and that is one tough search. And I keep going back to this thought about why hasn't there been something shared about the day she disappeared if she does walk away? And then I start thinking behaviorally, this kid spends a lot of time on her mobile device sending information to her YouTube channel, to her Instagram channel, to her Facebook page. She is not going to stop and just disappear off the planet on her own. Even if she were mad and walked away, she would be communicating with her other loved ones.
Absolutely. Jason Jensen, I mean, this investigation, this search, I think Mike is right, needle in a haystack. I mean, because you don't even have a starting point. You don't know when she went missing or exactly where they were when they went missing, if in fact the man who is with her, is remaining silent and has no further comment at this point.
Right. I think the biggest problem that I saw in the attorney's letter was the fact that it seems to be responsive to learning about a search rather than it was actually them that was encouraging the search. So I think it's a sad statement, to be honest, that does not seem to be that this Brian Laundrie is helping at all.
Mike King, how about tracking her phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a way to perhaps do this? I know that, but when you're in the middle of nowhere like that, can you still track phones?
Yeah, absolutely. The phone itself intrinsically has GPS that's connected to the satellite array, and there's just thousands of satellites that are keeping track and sending that back. So this is what's going to become really important in this investigation is the forensic search warrants that go on, getting that cell phone data, seeing what the behaviors were, and then being able to put that down on paper. And then it becomes a scientific investigation that will really show some pathways. Now, as you get in those off the beaten path areas, then you start having a little more trouble. But if they can get the device information, they're going to have much more accurate information than the triangulation off of cell towers that normally we would have to operate off of.
Ellen, how about Gabby's family? Do we
I just
what do we know about their reaction to everything that's happening here?
Well, they have said, her mother has said that this is a living nightmare, and it is. I just before we came on here tonight, I did speak to the family representative who sent out that statement, and he told me that Gabby is the loveliest person that any of them know. She is the eldest of, I believe, 6 siblings, the coolest person, as her dad describes her, and just everyone who knows her loves her, and everyone who loves her is fearful and heartbroken and angry and frustrated that we can't get answers that should be pretty easy to provide by someone who was with her last.
Yeah, Mike King. When I think about the no further comment at this juncture, like what juncture are you going to have a comment? I mean, she's missing now. What are we waiting for? What juncture are we waiting for? To me, I look at it through a lawyer's filter, right, Mike? And what I see is, and I have criminal defense attorneys on this program every night. They say, don't say anything. Don't say anything. The less you say, the less can be used against you, if and when there's ever charges. I look at, why would you be silent? You'd be silent because the lawyer's telling you to be silent. But he was silent maybe even before he had the lawyer, because if she went missing sometime in August, the family doesn't know till September. Wouldn't that be the first call? Wouldn't that be the first call? And Mike, come on, the first call. You are with this young woman and something happens, whatever it is. You pick up the phone, you call your parents, you call her parents, you get help, you explain the situation. But that didn't happen.
No, and you hit it on the head on the nail. This is 2 weeks before this attorney, if we understand the media reports accurately, 2 weeks pass before he goes and gets an attorney that tells him don't say anything. Well, he already took that counsel and was not saying anything for 2 weeks.
And Ellen, was it fiance? Were they at that point? I've seen kind of mixed reports on the status of the relationship.
You're right. There have been mixed reports, but on her Instagram and his Instagram feed, they both have the same photo from July 2020 saying that they had decided to get married.
And that was another, was that another road trip? Because I thought I saw some photos from 2020 when they were out on the West Coast.
Yeah, I believe that they have done this type of thing before, but I don't think to quite this extreme where they were spending months or planning to spend months on the road going all the way to Oregon, where Gabby was going to celebrate Halloween with some family friends. I believe she really loves Halloween, and her last Instagram post on August 24th, I believe, was holding up a little pumpkin and saying happy Halloween. So that's something that she was looking forward to.
Jason Jensen, something else struck me. I was going through the Instagram, and you were on the other night. I think you were on the other night when we were talking about the story out of Moab involving the other couple that went missing, the newly married couple. I think they went missing on August 14th in Moab, Utah. And this couple, or at least he, posted a picture of himself in Moab on August 13th. What's going on in Moab?
That's my thought exactly. I was thinking that earlier today. It's weird that we would have 2 camping related disappearances all in the same area, both involving Utah, perhaps.
Yeah, and both couples were living what they refer to as the van life. So, Mike King, you're in Utah too. What's going on in Moab? Because they're taking a picture on the 13th, and then we know where we are now in this case. The other couple's case that we're covering disappear out of Moab on the 14th of August.
Yeah, it looks like from the traffic pattern that they took, they probably went through that Moab area where Delicate Arch, that incredible image that we saw of the couple together, the big horseshoe looking arch occurred. They probably stopped there briefly en route to Zion National Park and then returned back because all of the evidence suggests that they left Moab and then went directly to Salt Lake. So it would appear that they did some doubling back. The thing that I guess I find a little bit of solace in is that we know that they left the Moab area where that other homicide occurred and they made it to Salt Lake. We absolutely know that. And we know they made it to Ogden, and we know that they made it to Jackson Hole. And of course, there's the photo of Delicate Arch. So it looks like unless that same predator's traveling the same pathway, that would be less likely.
Okay. I got worried there because I said, wait a minute. The
Yeah,
dates
it's a
here are lining up.
crazy,
It's
crazy deal.
crazy coincidence. Alan Killoran from Crime Online. Read your stuff every day. Thank you so much. Always great to have you on the show. Jason Jensen, Mike King are going to stay with us as we return and open up tonight's unsolved case file. Don't go anywhere.
Great insight from all of them. I don't know if they knew then what we know now about the domestic call. That leaves me with way more questions than I have answers. You guys know I have lots of questions. I'm kind of still flabbergasted. Not gonna lie to you. Gabby, where are you? I'm going to pull up the press conference and I'm going to let her parents speak, and I will make the police report large so you guys can read it while the press conference is going on, and then yeah. So what are you guys thinking? So many sad stories, Muffy. So many. And this one just caught my attention. Obviously, you guys can tell I can't stop posting about it. But when my interest is piqued, you guys know you have my full attention. This is just also bizarro. And right now, because now we know that Gabby is a feisty mama, I'm hoping he could have just been a dick and left her somewhere. And because she's outdoorsy, she could be trekking back home right now. So let's have hope too that maybe he's not speaking because he actually doesn't know where she is and he doesn't want to be blamed in case something happened to her because he did leave her behind or something to that effect, in my opinion, allegedly. But I really do think that something happened. They got into some kind of fight, obviously some type of altercation, and now because he's back without her, you know that something's up. Like, where is Gabby? I'm still pulling things up right now. I said the press conference with their parents, but I meant with the cops.
That you're trying not to release. I know you guys are all doing your best to get some of that info, but we really think for the integrity of this investigation that it's important that we not release everything we know when we know it.
And why did you guys think of her leaving?
It just made more sense. The family, first of all, the agency in Suffolk County has been fantastic. No issues there. This was just a situation where that happened to be where the family reported Gabby missing, and the fact that the van is here and both of these people that are surrounded in this case are Northport residents, so it just made more sense.
You processed Gabby's vehicle. Did you find any evidence?
We definitely processed that vehicle yesterday with the FBI. Certainly, there was some material in there that we'll be going through. I don't know that we're at a situation of releasing all those details. I think everybody in this country apparently is concerned for Gabby's well-being. We certainly have had an abundance of media attention from across this country, every major news network. I mean, it's not too often we have 15, 20 cameras and reporters sitting out in front of the Northport Police Department. So, yes, I think the answer is we are concerned, and we're working as quick as we can to get a resolution to that. Yeah, I think we can all make it. Come up with an idea of what that means. I don't know that we're at the point of solidifying anything. We don't know what Brian knows. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we're hopeful to talk to him. He needs to talk to us. We need to know exactly where he was, where she was, their last locations, and that the fact that he was back here for 10 days. There was, again, the family reported her missing 10 days later.
Well, do you know exactly what Brian
Let's
is?
spread it around.
What's the status on it?
Me too, Nat. Me too.
There is currently no search warrant on the home of Brian's parents.
Where was the car found? Was it at his house, her house?
Correct. The vehicle was found at Brian's parents' home, where Brian and Gabby reside.
Do you know what Brian is?
I don't know. It's minute by minute. At the moment, no, I do not.
Josh, why was he named a person of interest? Why did you come to that conclusion?
I think most people would come to that conclusion in this case. He was the last known person that we have information was around her. How you define person of interest is up to you, but certainly we are interested in talking with him.
What does not cooperating look like?
One at a time. Who's going?
What does the non-cooperating look like? What is he?
Okay, so here's the situation that happened. We went to the door Saturday night. We asked to speak with Brian and his family, and we were essentially handed the information for their attorney. That is the extent of our conversation with them. It's my understanding we have had some conversations with his attorney, but certainly nothing to the level of providing us the details that we would like.
How are you planning on getting those details?
Well, look, we all have rights in this country. We all have the Fifth Amendment right. We're hoping that people just do the right thing.
What do you know about the details in Utah of this alleged response from the Galactic Police Department?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of information on that. I know that there was an incident in Utah prior to this. That could potentially be some information we'll have later today.
Who pulled the cops in Utah?
Again, I don't know.
There was another incident in Utah where 2 women were killed that were also living in Indiana. Are we possibly talking about this?
I've heard that theory. I am unaware of us linking that at this point to that.
And what extensive information has your lawyer provided to you?
I don't have those details.
Josh, yesterday you said you guys were sifting through data and trying to find really a timeline. Have you guys been able to find yourself?
That is something that we are wanting to locate for sure.
So they don't have her phone.
We've got detectives working around the clock with the FBI, using every technological resource known to man. I don't know if that answered your question.
Detectives were going door to door talking to the neighbors in there. Are you able to share with all of that?
It's because of you guys. The neighbors have certainly been inundated by the media. I think that they have had numerous people knock on their door and drive in their yard. So I respectfully ask you to. I understand you have a job to do, and we certainly respect that. But obviously, people there are being impacted.
Josh, what would you say to anybody out there that they have seen Gabby and Brian? What would you say to them if they have information?
Sure. Well, we now have this new tip line that we're just want everything to funnel through. So 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's what we're hoping for. That will really help us streamline things. I know in the past we've had some FBI connection and a Suffolk County Police Department connection, but now we're really hoping to use this one particular tip line. The FBI can help us vet. As you can imagine, we get a lot of goofy phone calls and stuff like that really aren't helpful, that really send us down some rabbit holes that are just a waste of our time. So I really hope that
police are still searching
viable to reach out to us.
Are any of your detectives out west helping, or are they all here?
I'm unaware of that.
And is there anything your office can do to force him to talk, like such as taking an arrest warrant, taking him into custody? Are you close to that?
I think we're just pleading with him at this point to please speak with us. We need to understand those details. You know, they put out a release yesterday saying they remain in the background. That is not good enough. We need the details.
And do you plan to escalate those requests?
As far as doing what? I mean, we all have the Fifth Amendment right in this country not to speak. We'll anything under the law that we are capable and able to do.
The 24th.
To try to get information, whether it be to Brian or anyone else, we will do.
Was Brian allowed to drive the van?
In 2 at one time, yes, ma'am.
Is that still the last location? Is there a search going on there right now?
We do not have a search that we've organized in Wyoming. It is my understanding that the family themselves from New York has flown to Wyoming. I cannot confirm that they're doing their own search. I have heard that. I believe that to be true, but I cannot confirm that.
Has the FBI...
Well, 1 second. We got this man.
Was Brian legally allowed to drive the van? Was he co-owner or insured any of the
The van is in her name. So as far as insurance-wise, that has not been a conversation that I've had. Certainly the fact that it was in her possession, I mean, I don't know that any of us are currently worried about a stolen vehicle charge. We're trying to get to the bottom of this.
How is NP?
I do not have knowledge of that, ma'am.
How does NPPD feel about the investigation right now? Any closer than you were yesterday? I know it's only been 24 hours.
Right.
But
I think with every minute, more details come in, more things are worked on. I can tell you right now, we do not have, a definitive answer here, but they are working on it. I think every day, some of this technology takes time. I think some requests through, whether it be bank statements or app usage or whatever, some of those issues take time. Thankfully, the FBI is helpful for us in this and probably speeding some of that up.
At this point in the investigation, you don't feel that you're being talked about.
Absolutely. We have to do that for ourselves, but more importantly for the family. We want them to understand that if she's out there, we're doing everything in our power to bring her home. But obviously, we have a role to plan for the worst.
Josh, do you have any leads related to the evidence from the van? Do we have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, that van was processed less than 12 hours ago as far as with the FBI inside. We did a cursory search of it on the outside when we initially got that van on Saturday, but wanting to make sure, you only get one shot at some of these things. So we handled it professionally and appropriately. So certainly not to the level of we're ready to come out here and speak with you all on it.
And is part of the investigation including pulling highway cameras and things like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll use everything. Tolls, highway cameras, gas station surveillance cameras, tips, cell phone usage, financials, whatever.
And anything to report from those cameras?
I can tell you that we have received some video footage from different times. Whether that is helpful, I don't know.
We share what those times were.
I cannot.
And to be clear, Suffolk PD was leading us here before?
Suffolk County Police Department, yes. And again, I want to be clear, and this isn't necessarily important for your story, but this was not a matter of taking over control. This was just what made sense.
Josh, the Instagram account, Gabby's Instagram account has been restored. Do you have any knowledge?
I can tell you that we were initially made aware of that by the media this morning, and we are looking into that. That was, to my knowledge, that was not something that we have done. Okay?
And his attorney, is he based on Long Island in New York?
He is.
He is. So no local counsel has been, to your knowledge?
Correct. We've been provided one name and one phone number.
are any of your detectives in New York?
Not to my knowledge. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate the work that you do to get this information out. It is important, and we understand the public need for info on this, and we're working for a good resolution, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So that was odd. The one thing that we found out was that law enforcement didn't delete her Instagram. A follower let me know that Instagram says they deleted her Instagram because there were so many fakes being made, it was accidentally deleted. So that is the answer of who deleted Gabby's Instagram this morning. That being said, I do have one more thing. Well, I have quite a few things. This is already so much stuff on this case. Where's Gabby? I don't want her to be a case. I want her to be found. But there's already so many developments, is what I mean.
Searching for 22-year-old Gabby Petito. She disappeared while on a cross-country road trip with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. She was believed to be in Wyoming in late August, which was the last time her family heard from her. Police say her boyfriend drove their van back to Florida, but Gabby is nowhere to be found. According to multiple news outlets, police in Moab, Utah say they were called to an incident involving the couple in mid-August. Police say the couple were not the ones who called police, and there was insufficient evidence for charges. Further details are not available. Gabby's Instagram page has been deactivated overnight, and Petito's family also released a statement saying, in part, Brian is refusing to tell Gabby's family where he last saw her. To see the full statement, head to my Instagram story. Police are looking for 22-year-old Gabby Petito. She disappeared while traveling in a van cross-country with her fiance, Brian Laundrie. She's been missing since late August.
At my hammock, one of these trees.
And we're kind of like in the desert.
Very few trees.
The van that the couple were traveling in was found at Laundrie's parents' home in Florida. Police, they're calling the case, quote, odd. According to their social media pages, the couple was out west traveling to national parks in Utah and Colorado. Petito's mother says the last time they FaceTimed was August 25th, the same day as Gabby's last Instagram post. At the time, the couple was in Wyoming, according to her mother, and their last text messages were exchanged around August 30th. Laundrie drove the van from Wyoming to Florida, but Gabby is nowhere to be found. He has since hired a lawyer. This is the last update I plan on doing for the Gabby Petito case tonight. Hopefully there will be some sort of update tomorrow. I'm going to share a clip of Gabby's father speaking with Fox News from, I believe, this morning.
Starting in July, when and how did you find out that she had gone missing?
When she didn't contact anyone. You know, she's in contact regularly with everyone. Me, you know, her mom, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, family, everyone. Yeah. So the fact that we haven't heard from her in quite some time, you know, it wasn't unusual. You know, a few days at a clip, give her to take where she was traveling. But as the days ticked off, you know, things became much more alarming.
So she was on this trip with her boyfriend. What can you tell us about him?
Nothing. I'm not going to talk about him. But I just want to focus on Gabby. Yeah. We got to find her. Yeah. She's the one that's missing. So, I mean, if you can keep the picture up of her and make sure that everyone can see her. So if they see her passing on the street or you see something, you know, that just looks odd and it's safe to, you know, to just take a look, you know, and do it. You know, we got to find Gabby. We got to bring her home.
Absolutely. We will keep those pictures going as we continue our conversation. You said something.
Oh, what happened to the rest of that? I must have not added that. Oops. But yes, that was from a reporter in Miami. She's been uploading onto TikTok. I've been following her for quite some time. I love her content. I love her voice, and I love the coverage and the way she comes like through the screen for the cases that she's following. John Ziggy, welcome. And you say there's something wrong here. And I agree. There's definitely something wrong. All of this, yeah, this is also shocking. I'm going to pull this up one more time for the people that have not been here the whole time. This is the police report for the domestic that happened on what I believe is the 12th or the 13th. I think they may have just written the reports on the 13th. I initially heard that it was the 12th that the dispute happened. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to read it one more time. I arrived on scene and observed as 2 park officers also arrived. I assisted Officer Robbins with his investigation until I was called away to report of an intoxicated male near MRH posing a safety risk to himself or others. Before leaving, I spoke with the male driver of the van, the female passenger, and also called Chris to get more information from him. All 3 individuals gave me a similar and consistent story consisting of the basic idea that the driver of the van, a male, had some sort of argument with the female, Gabby, as I recall. The male tried to create distance by telling Gabby to go take a walk to calm down. She didn't want to be separated from the male and began slapping him. He grabbed her face and pushed her back as she pressed upon him and the van. He tried to lock her out and succeeded except for his driver's door. She opened that and forced her way over him and into the vehicle before it drove off. Not one reported that the male struck that female. No one reported that male struck the female. Both the male and the female reported they are in love and engaged to be married and desperately didn't wish to see anyone charged with a crime. There were no significant injuries reported, and both agreed that Gabby suffers from serious anxiety, etc. It appeared that this incident was more accurately categorized as a mental emotional health break than a domestic assault. I had to leave, but I understand that Officer Robbins got the male lodging through Seek Haven. Gabby retained possession of the van, and they agreed to separate for the night. No charges were filed, and no one wished for charges to be filed for the separation to take place. Although that was at minimum what Officer Robbins required in lieu of making a case against Gabby for domestic assault. Gabby is a 22-year-old female who is approximately 5'2" to 5'4", 110 to 120 pounds, while her fiancé is older, taller, and much heavier than her. He had no fear for his safety and did not exhibit any indicators that he may be a victim of battered boyfriend syndrome, etc. He was also assessed to be at low risk of danger or harm as a result of the proximity to his fiancée, Gabby. Nothing further EOS EMP, which I do not know what it means. Anybody speak up? On 8/12 at approximately... there you go. On the 12th of August. On 8/12, 2021, at approximately 16:44 hours, I responded to a possible domestic violence in progress call. A van with both a male and a female as occupants was reported leaving the area of 39 East 100 northbound on Main Street. One of the witnesses described the vehicle as a white Ford Transit van with a black ladder on the rear with Florida license plates, whatever. Witness Christopher Blank reported seeing a male later identified as Brian Landry and a female later identified as Gabrielle Petito arguing over a phone. Christopher stated that when Brian got into the van, he saw what appeared to him as Gabrielle hitting Brian in the arm and then climbing through the driver's window as if Brian had locked her out and she was trying to find a way in. I located a white van that matched the description on North Main Street of the Highway 128 turnoff. After I crossed the bridge, I was able to catch up to the van at the turnoff of Arches National Park. I confirmed the vehicle's license plate and initiated the stop. I followed the vehicle as it continued towards the entrance gate to Arches National Park. I noted the van traveling approximately 45 miles per hour in the 15-mile-per-hour speed zone after I activated my lights to initiate a traffic stop. I watched the van cross the double yellow dividing line in the lane, merge to lane 2, and abruptly swerve to the right. When the police swerved, both the front and rear passenger side wheels hit the curb a short distance before the entrance gate. The vehicle came to a stop. I'm sorry if I keep pausing. I approached the vehicle and saw the only occupants being Gabrielle and Brian. Gabrielle, who was in the passenger seat, was crying uncontrollably. I asked Gabrielle to get out of the vehicle to speak with me. Gabrielle told me that she suffers from blank with blank. She continued, because of her blank and blank combined with little arguments she and Brian had been having that day, she was struggling with her mental health, which led to the incident that reported to law enforcement. Gabrielle stated that when she saw my lights, she hit Brian in the arm to get his attention, which in turn caused him to hit the curb while I was following them. I asked Gabrielle if her intention was to hurt Brian. Her response was that she did not intend to hurt him, but rather get his attention to notice me as I was behind them with my lights on. At no point in my investigation did Gabrielle stop crying, breathing heavily, or compose a sentence without needing to wipe away tears, wipe her eyes, or rub her knees with her hands, which makes it sound like she's incredibly anxious. What is she incredibly anxious about? I don't know. Somebody was saying, it seems like she's the aggressor. Amber mentioned that it seems like they're incredibly immature. I would agree that it sounds like they're incredibly immature, and I felt that in this incident, she is looked at as the aggressor. But who's to say maybe he was gaslighting her and caused this scene? If it's her van and they are living together this nomadic life, locking her out of a van can be extremely distressing. Whose phone were they fighting over? Was it hers or his? Either way, I think that the altercation was because of her. If he was trying to take her phone away, why? Was she trying to call for some type of help? Was she trying to call and rat on him for something? Or if she was trying to get his phone, was he cheating? Was he hiding something from her? He had just gone back home, according to her family. He had just gone back home and packed her stuff up, like into a storage unit. Was he talking to his family about her? I don't know, guys. Let's see. Possible with bipolar 2, which is impulsivity and not the up and down mood swings, right? Being locked out would be traumatic, especially if that's your only home. And not only is it all unhealthy, but she's trying to put him on the platform like they're happy. I'm sure it was too much for him and he snapped. He's in the wrong regardless if she's the aggressor. Absolutely. And she hit him in the arm, not in the face. Trust me, if my dude locked me out, I would be hitting him in the face, just saying. It seems like she did hit him in the face, but, go on. Trapped in a van 24 hours a day can become stressful in any relationship, more so when you're young. Absolutely. And then off the beaten path, no Wi-Fi, no communication, and as much as they want to seem off the grid, you can tell they like their social media, Hey, Betsy, what's going on? He's been beat on. She has behavior symptoms of borderline personality disorder. Let's see. Wait, what? He went home and packed her stuff and went back to where she was and then disappeared? Yes, Mel Hawks. Allegedly, that's what happened. Let me pull that up then. Talk amongst yourselves, kids. Let me pull this up real fast. Again, one of my great friends who has been helping me out with my research on this sent me this. It's a handwritten note that was in the Facebook groups that was written by her family. So when they were writing out all the information, this is one of the things that they had. Just give me one moment while I pull it up. But yes, I agree that this is all so weird. I would be more inclined to believe that Gabby was okay just catching a breather and would give us a call, and not give us a call, but would give people a call once it all blew over. But if Gabby was okay, why would her boyfriend be lawyering up? That's just really weird. Okay, let me see. Okay, I found it. I'm going to pull it up right now. Share my screen with you. It is escalating fast, Amber. It's escalating very fast. I'm exhausted. I feel like I'm having a full-time job right now. But obviously, I'd be doing this alone anyway, so I am happy to do it with you guys. Okay. This here is a handwritten note of the timeline that her family had on Facebook. As it states, domestic reported 8:12. Brian went to Florida 8:17 through 8:23. They left hotel in Salt Lake City 8:24. They were in Grand Teton, Wyoming 8:25. That's also the last time her mom saw her on FaceTime. Told a friend throughout Snapchat on 8:27 she was heading into Yellowstone. Last text from quote-unquote her phone on 8:30 saying, no service in Yosemite. And they're asking, was that her? one thing that you will note is that it says they left the hotel in Salt Lake City on 8/24. On 8/22, she called her dad and he sent an Uber Eats for her to get food. So he got her a pizza because that it was storming over there. Maybe that's why they got a hotel. But they were in a hotel in Salt Lake City, Utah. On 8/25, she was in Grand Teton, Wyoming. Spoke to her mom on FaceTime, and that was the last time anybody heard from her. That was in person. We don't know if 8/27, 8/30, and beyond were her. What do you guys think about that? So the thing with borderline personality disorder is that it's driven primarily by fear, abandonment, and fear of rejection, but their fear end up bringing self-fulfilling prophecies due to how they behave. Oh, I know that life all too well. The self-sabotage stage. They can become violent, threaten, or attempt to kill themselves to get their partner to stay. It's deep. It sure is. Oh boy. Let's see, Megan. Amanda mentioned something about Ogden, all mentioned in Las Vegas. I haven't had a chance to research it yet. Oh boy. And what she said, and what is that what she had? BPD? Is that what's confirmed? Because I never noticed what it was redacted from the report. It was redacted. You can't see what it says. Hey, little miss, what's up? How are you? Oops, sorry. It says it could be he killed them. He killed them girls for money. She just knew was stressing over it and said she would tell someone. He freaked out. It's just a theory. Oy. Anyone would feel like they are being abandoned if they are locked out of their car and that is their home at the moment. Absolutely. That's what I was saying. Maybe he was gaslighting her. Locking her out of her car is going to cause somebody to become anxious. When they got in a fight in Moab, the safe place paid for hotel room for... When they got in a fight in Moab, the safe place paid for hotel room for Brian. She stayed in the van. Seems weird, like they had no money. She had her dad buy her pizza. I'm great, thank you. I feel like their relationship was young and volatile. There was a place that has a lot of animals and or areas to harm someone or to push accidentally. Would be hard to find a body. It's so sad. That was what caught my attention too, Betsy B. It's her van. He left in her van back home, left her somewhere, went back home in her van. When he was pulled over by cops after they put out an APB for her license plate, he lawyered up immediately. What's sketchier than that? Megan J. Chat later, hopefully. Girly Gamer. There was a photo of Gabby with a book Fight Club on her lap with him standing near the water. Anyone else see this photo? I absolutely saw it. I commented, I am Tyler Durden. Hey, Patriot Wife, welcome. Hi, I agree. Something sinister happened. Keep praying for the truth. The problem today is more and more we don't know follow Jesus. That's the truth. So many different scenarios you could think of. It drives you crazy. Yeah, I mean, I really just think right now he left her somewhere. Whether he did something to her first, allegedly, I don't know. Is she going to run off? Wouldn't she take her own van? I mean, this isn't hard to figure out. Absolutely. And we would know where her phone was. They don't have her phone. He should have never left her anywhere. Absolutely. The revival is here. He did something to her. Thank you for doing this, Amanda. Please, guys, hit the thumbs up for me. Yeah. It does just take a second, and I have put some time into this a little bit, but I'm doing it for Gabby. Honestly, I can't get her off my mind, kind of like Summer. The only reason I'm not oversaturating you guys with Summer is because there's enough out there. Nothing new, but I still think about her nonstop too. The fact that he doesn't want to make a statement is such a coward thing, yeah. Facebook was threatening to have a vigil outside of his home yesterday for Gabby, like, where's Gabby kind of thing. And I sent it to Teresa. I said, what I would do to be there. I would love to be there and ask him, at least outside of his window, like, where is she? How are you in there, like, being so calm and living life when your fiance is missing? That's not right. By the way, I'm not diagnosing, just an educated guess based on information we read on this report. Catherine C., don't worry about it. Talking about summer, I see BK out there, video backup of Dawn and Candace. I haven't seen it yet. Should I? Oh no. Oh no, I didn't know that. So she's been missing since the 25th that we know. Her mom was on FaceTime with her. 24th, she was on FaceTime, I believe, with her dad. So we know she made it to the 25th of August somewhere and talked to somebody. After that, we don't know. Yes, we should all just pull up to his window and be like, where is she? Exactly. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Brian Laundry. Beep, beep. Where's your girl? Beep, beep. I can't take any more missing children. Happening too much, it seems. I will, Tina. I'll watch it afterwards. Yes, so the 25th is the very last day she talked to her mom on FaceTime. So Nat is saying there's a guy who's also missing in Moab from August 30th. Really? I'll have to look that up. Ugh, what a headache. Not that it's giving me grief, but it's almost too much to keep in line. There is a non-redacted report, and she has anxiety and not a personality disorder. Thank you, Mohawks. I appreciate that. I feel bad for her that there is an unredacted one out there, but good for us to learn. Them being in the middle of nowhere and him randomly showing up in her van, guilty. Him going back home in her van, guilty. Him luring up as soon as they pulled him over in her van, guilty. In my opinion, allegedly, he is innocent until proven guilty. Betsy B, stop repeating it. Oh boy, I guess I'm gonna have to go check that one out. She has been missing for almost 3 weeks. That's a long time, but with an outdoorsy girl like that, I think that she could survive, had she been left in rough terrain. I really do think she could endure it. Not saying that I would want that on her, but like, what if he just left her in the middle of nowhere, like really just like pushed her out, I'm leaving you here, and drove away. And like somebody said earlier, didn't report her, so it would take a long time for them to find her. I can understand why he feels in the wrong for leaving her, but even so, you don't need to lawyer up and not speak at all. In my opinion, something is suspect about that. Absolutely. It's her van, her safe place, sense of security. She wouldn't just hand it over to him and walk away. If she had severe anxiety, doubt she wanders off on her own. In their last video together, their YouTube video, she says, I love the van. And like she pans backwards to see it. She really did love that van. She really does love that van. I hate that I said that right now. The fact that he's done this, even her mom said, the fact that he hasn't said anything is just making it seem like it's like there's something bad going on, like he's done something. Nobody wants to believe that he's done something, but he's not doing anything else. So let me pull up another thingy majigger over here. This is her last TikToks. Hey Octavia, what's going on? Nice to see ya. And that concludes our show today. I'm just kidding. No, but in reality, everybody, please be safe out there. Please keep an eye out for Gabby. Please keep resharing all posts that you see. Keep all factual information on the table. Everything is alleged. Let's just hope that she is found. And I am dropping the link for Crazy Crime Chick. She is live right now. If you head on over there, please tell her that I sent you. I want to make a big kaboom. So let's head on over there, guys. Thank you so much all for being here. I will see you later. Love you guys. Bye.